My child, listen carefully to me tonight. There are moments in life when heaven grows silent before it speaks again with power. There are seasons when you feel surrounded by confusion, betrayal, delay, and unanswered prayers. You have cried in secret. You have smiled in front of people while silently breaking inside. You have asked, God, do you still see me? Do you still have a plan for me? And today, God says, I have made a very serious decision about you. Not a temporary decision, not an emotional decision, not a decision that can be reversed by people, demons, failures, or your past mistakes. A divine decision. God says, I have watched every tear you tried to hide. I heard every prayer you whispered through pain. I saw the nights you almost gave up. And now heaven has responded. There are people who thought your story was over. People who buried your name in criticism. People who celebrated your silence. But God says, they made their decision about you, but now I have made mine. And when God makes a decision, no human power can cancel it. This is the season where God begins to separate you from what has been draining your spirit. Some doors are closing because they were destroying your destiny. Some relationships are ending because they were blocking your peace. Some delays happened because God was protecting you from what looked good but carried destruction inside it. You called it rejection. God called it rescue. You called it abandonment. God called it redirection. You thought you were losing everything. But God says, I was removing what could not go where I am taking you. Hear this clearly. The pain was not punishment. The waiting was not weakness. The battle was not meaningless. God was preparing your spirit for a level your old mindset could not survive, because there are blessings that require maturity. There are miracles that require endurance, and there are callings that require brokenness before glory. God says, I had to allow the fire because I was creating gold inside you. Some of you listening have been fighting invisible battles. Battles in your mind. Battles in your home. Battles in your faith. And nobody truly understands how exhausted you are. But God understands. And today He says, you will not break in this season. You will not die in this pain. You will not remain in darkness forever. The decision has already been made in heaven. The enemy wanted you ashamed. God has chosen to lift your head. The enemy wanted you trapped in fear. God has chosen to fill you with authority. The enemy wanted you to quit. But God says, you are about to rise with power you never knew you had. Listen carefully. God is not only changing your circumstances, He is changing you. Because transformation is always deeper than temporary comfort. God is teaching you to pray with authority, to walk by faith instead of emotion, to stop chasing approval from people who cannot determine your future. You were not born to live addicted to human validation. You were born to carry divine purpose. And God says, the season of shrinking yourself is over. No more apologizing for the calling on your life. No more hiding your voice. No more doubting what God placed inside you. The same God who created oceans, stars, mountains, and galaxies has placed greatness within your spirit. But hear this sermon carefully. Before elevation comes separation. Sometimes God removes people because they were too connected to your history and not connected enough to your destiny. Not everyone assigned to your past is qualified for your future. That hurts, but it is holy, because God will never allow comfort to destroy calling. And some of you have been asking God for peace while continuing to hold what He told you to release. Tonight God says, let it go. Let go of bitterness. Let go of revenge. Let go of the guilt. Let go of the fear that keeps whispering, nothing will ever change. Because the moment God makes a decision, history begins to shift. Do you remember Joseph? Rejected by his brothers, thrown into a pit, forgotten in prison. But one decision from heaven changed everything in a single day. Do you remember David, ignored by his own family, mocked by giants, hunted by enemies, yet God had already decided, this shepherd will become a king. And hear this. People may misunderstand your process, but they cannot stop God's purpose. When God says yes, no devil can say no. When God opens a door, no enemy can shut it. When God calls your name, chains begin to fall, so stop speaking defeat over yourself. Stop saying, I'm too broken, I'm too late, I'm too damaged. God specializes in using wounded people. Moses had fear, Rahab had a past, Peter had failures, Paul had scars. Yet God used them because surrender is more powerful than perfection. And maybe that is why you have suffered so deeply. Because oil is produced through crushing. The deeper the pain, the stronger the anointing God can produce through a surrendered heart. God says, you cried over what left, but you have not yet seen what is coming. There are blessings being prepared in secret. There are doors opening that you cannot yet see. There are prayers already moving through heaven toward your life. Do not let temporary darkness convince you that God has abandoned you. Morning is coming. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Your healing is closer than you think. Your restoration is closer than you think. And this is the final word God wants you to hear. My decision about you is not failure. My decision about you is not destruction. My decision about you is not defeat. God says, I have decided to restore you. I have decided to strengthen you. I have decided to heal you. I have decided to use your pain for purpose. I have decided that what tried to destroy you will instead become the testimony that inspires others. So stand up again, pray again, believe again, hope again. My child, I know the pain you never explained to anyone. I saw every sleepless night, every hidden tear, and every moment you felt abandoned. While others misunderstood you, I was watching your struggle with compassion. Even when you sat alone in silence, carrying burdens too heavy for your heart, I never turned away from you. I heard the prayers you whispered with trembling faith. I saw the moments when you smiled in front of others while silently fighting battles nobody could see. There were times you felt forgotten, overlooked, and emotionally exhausted, but heaven never lost sight of you. You have asked me many times, why is this happening to me? Why does it feel like I keep losing while others keep moving ahead? But what you could not see was that there were things taking place behind the scenes. I was protecting you from paths that looked beautiful on the outside, but carried destruction within them. Some doors were closed because they would have damaged your spirit. Some relationships ended because they were slowly draining your peace, your purpose, and your strength. You cried over losses that were actually acts of divine protection. There were moments when disappointment shook your faith. You expected answers, but silence surrounded you. You expected support, but people walked away. You expected healing, but the pain seemed to grow deeper. Yet, even in those painful seasons, I was still working within you. I was teaching you endurance. I was teaching you to trust me when circumstances made no sense. I was building a stronger spirit inside you, one that could survive storms without collapsing under pressure. The pressure you faced was not meant to destroy you, but to prepare you for a greater purpose. Gold cannot shine without passing through fire, and your spirit could not rise to the level I planned for you without being strengthened through trials. What felt like punishment was actually preparation. What felt like delay was actually protection. You looked at your life and saw broken pieces, but I looked at your life and saw transformation taking place, one painful lesson at a time. There were nights when fear whispered to you, telling you that nothing would ever change. Fear told you that your future was hopeless, that your prayers were wasted, and that your tears meant nothing. But fear has never spoken my truth. I have never abandoned you. Even in your weakest moments, I stood beside you. Even when your faith became fragile, my hand remained upon your life. I carried you through battles you did not even realize you survived. I know the betrayal you experienced. I know how deeply words wounded your heart. Some people smiled in front of you, while secretly tearing down your confidence behind your back. Some people only loved you when you were useful to them. Others walked away the moment you needed support. Those wounds left scars on your spirit, and at times you struggled to trust again. But I allowed you to see the truth about people, so you would stop building your identity on human approval. Your worth was never meant to depend on who accepts you or who rejects you. Your value comes from me alone. Do not mistake delay for denial. Just because something has not happened yet does not mean I have forgotten your prayers. Timing matters in every season of life. There are blessings that arrive too early and become burdens instead of miracles. There are opportunities that require growth before they can be handled wisely. I know the future better than you do, and I refuse to release certain things into your hands before your spirit is ready to carry them. You have spent so much time questioning your worth because of what you lost, but loss does not define your future. Your failures do not cancel your purpose. Your mistakes do not erase my plans for your life. Many of the people I used greatly were once broken, rejected, afraid, and uncertain. I have always specialized in restoring wounded hearts and raising people who thought their lives were beyond repair. There is a reason the enemy fought your mind so intensely. There is a reason discouragement tried to silence your voice. There is a reason confusion tried to drain your hope. Darkness only attacks what carries light. The battles you faced were proof that your life carries purpose. The pressure around you was evidence that something valuable exists within you. I have made a serious decision about your life. You will not remain trapped in sorrow forever. The heaviness you carried for so long will not define the rest of your story. I am removing things that no longer belong in your life. I am healing wounds that people cannot see. I am restoring strength to the parts of you that became tired from constant disappointment. The season of confusion is ending, and a new season of clarity, strength, and restoration is beginning. The people who counted you out do not have the final word over your future. Many of them looked at your struggles and assumed your story would end in failure. They saw your broken moments, your delays, your mistakes, and your battles, and they decided you would never rise again. Some secretly celebrated your pain. Others lost faith in you when life became difficult, but their opinions were never powerful enough to cancel what I have spoken over your life. Human judgment cannot overpower divine purpose. I know there were moments when you almost believed the negative voices surrounding you. After hearing criticism for so long, you started questioning your own worth. You began doubting your abilities, your future, and even your purpose. The disappointment became so heavy that sometimes you struggled to recognize the strength that still existed inside you. But I never stopped seeing greatness within you, even during the moments when you could not see it yourself. I am able to restore what was lost, heal what was broken, and revive what seemed dead inside you. There are dreams you buried because pain convinced you they would never happen. There are parts of your heart that became cold after repeated betrayal and rejection. There are prayers you stopped praying because you became tired of waiting for answers. But nothing is impossible for me. I can breathe life into situations that appear hopeless. I can rebuild what was destroyed. I can turn pain into purpose and turn weakness into strength. Your story is not ending in defeat. This season of struggle is not the conclusion of your journey. The darkness surrounding you now is temporary. You may feel surrounded by uncertainty, but I am still guiding your steps, even when you cannot clearly see the road ahead. Every battle has been shaping your spirit. Every hardship has been teaching you lessons that comfort could never teach. The trials you faced were not meaningless. They were preparing you for responsibilities, blessings, and opportunities greater than you imagined. Do not fear the battles around you, because I am strengthening you through them. I never promised a life without storms, but I promised my presence in the middle of them. There were times when you thought you would completely fall apart, yet somehow you kept moving forward. That strength did not come from you alone. I was carrying you through moments that should have destroyed your peace. Even when anxiety filled your thoughts and exhaustion weakened your spirit, my hand remained over your life. Every scar carries a lesson. Every hardship is building endurance, wisdom, and spiritual authority within you. The pain you experienced taught you compassion for others. The betrayal taught you discernment. The loneliness taught you how to seek me more deeply. The waiting taught you patience. None of your suffering has been wasted. I have been using every difficult moment to shape your character and prepare your spirit for the future ahead of you. There are some people who only believe in victory when they see immediate results. But true faith grows strongest in seasons where nothing makes sense. Faith is trusting me when prayers seem unanswered. Faith is continuing to walk forward when fear tries to convince you to quit. Faith is believing that I am working behind the scenes, even when visible evidence has not yet appeared. Your endurance through difficult seasons has not gone unnoticed in heaven. I am calling you to rise above fear, doubt, and discouragement. Fear has kept you silent for too long. Doubt has made you underestimate the gifts I placed within you. Discouragement has drained your confidence and weakened your expectations for the future. But you were not created to live trapped in constant defeat. You were created with purpose, strength, and divine direction. The enemy tried to convince you that you are weak because he fears what will happen when you fully realize who you are becoming. Stop speaking failure over your life. Stop repeating words that agree with hopelessness. Your voice carries power, and the words you speak over yourself affect your spirit deeply. Do not continue cursing your future with doubt and negativity. Speak with faith, even before the breakthrough appears. Speak with courage, even while healing from pain. Speak with expectation, even while waiting for answers. Your current situation is not permanent. You are chosen, guided, and deeply loved by me. I knew every detail about your life before you were born. I knew the battles you would face, the heartbreaks you would experience, and the moments where your faith would be tested. Yet I still called you with purpose. I still placed gifts, potential, and destiny within you. Your identity is not based on what people say about you. Your identity is rooted in what I have declared over your life. Trust my timing, even when you cannot see the full picture. There are things happening beyond your understanding right now. Doors are being prepared. Obstacles are being removed. Lessons are being completed within your spirit. Sometimes waiting feels painful because you only see the present moment, but I see the future entirely. I know when the right opportunities should arrive. I know when your heart is ready for what you have been praying for. The decision has already been made in heaven. You are being led into a season of breakthrough, peace, and divine purpose. The heaviness that followed you for so long will not remain forever. The confusion that clouded your mind will begin to clear. The wounds that weakened your confidence will begin to heal. What once felt impossible will slowly become reality as my hand moves upon your life.